Anti-Afros, Bengalis, coming on here to make sure there are some guarantees that are reinforced. Fantasy is legal. Pretending to your heart's desire is something that you can do that nobody can interfere with. And I also want to make sure it's clear that certain lies will never be able to slide by. You can get up here and tell any lie you want. It is not going to slide by as the truth. And nothing more strongly drives that home than when we start talking about what has gone down in and around the Umar Johnson sector as it relates to families. And before we get into that, there's been something I've been meaning to put out there. I need to clear this deck regarding this binary situation. When DJ Jackass Antonio Johnson ran a live stream, it wasn't that long ago, all not that long ago. Binary came over to his channel. Binary had announced he was over there in DJ Jackass's chat, and he had seen that he had posted information about my dad. Obviously, the information was stolen from the Social Security Administration, was military information. And Binary on his channel, listen, are you listening? Actually said the name of my pops on his channel. I've already said it once. I'll say it as many times I need to say it. It doesn't matter to me that you say my brothers and sisters' names, my relatives' names, my parents' names. That's not the issue. The issue is, how are you going to handle it when it's reciprocated? We already know Mona stole the information. That's where she got started. We know it was stolen. How do you handle it when it's reciprocated? So Binary, I'm going to return the favor. I kept meaning to do this. And I'm even more so prompted to do it because Binary keeps trying to throw my name in some bullshit that I have nothing to do with. He keeps throwing me into these sectors that I don't even participate in. I don't know these people and they don't even know me. Why the hell do you keep bringing up this woman that they don't know? I've never been over in their chats. I've been over in a certain person's chat, but that's not the sector he keeps trying to throw me into. But let me get back to the family situation. Binary mentioned my pop's name. So Binary, I'm returning the favor to you. Your dad's name is William Glaster. There you go. Now, how do you feel about that, Binary? Do you have any problem with that? Do you mind that I'm putting your dad's name out there? Like I said, I don't give a damn. You put my dad's name out there, doesn't make a damn bit of difference to me. But I have some other questions, Binary. Why do you have a different last name than your dad? As you saw, I have the same last name as my dad. And I have another question. Why are you using different names? Why is it that when you were working at the school, you said your name is Wesley G. Little, but in other documents, you go by Wesley O'Hara. O'Hara or O'Hara, however it's pronounced. Just asking. So, you want to throw my name up into shit and start shit with me where I'm not involved? Listen, Binary, I can start shit with you. It's obvious to me that you're still pissed that I filed that complaint against you. I had every freaking right to file a complaint against you. You were the one who came messing with me. You were the one who started shit with me, like you're doing now. I've never mentioned your name, never said a word about you. I don't know what it is about you and this identity withheld who think that you can just jump up and start talking shit about people and think people are supposed to do what? Nothing? We can't make a response. We can't say anything to you, but you can say whatever the hell you want about everybody else and just talk all your shit. So if you want to start shit with me, don't like trickle out your piss. Just go full stream. Go full stream and I'll go with you. So if you want to keep trying to throw me into shit, throw me into these sectors where I don't belong, I'm not participating, then fine, binary, we can go full throttle. And do they know where you work? Because I hear it gets pretty nasty in those other sectors when people are messing with me and I ain't saying shit to them. That's when I get relentless. That's when I have all my justification to do whatever the hell I have every right to do. And that is to reciprocate. They cannot handle any reciprocation. Let's move on to the actual main topic of this video, which is actually related to what I just stated. In order for me to continue on, I want to let you hear something. Stay tuned and I will return.
Whatever you got going on, I ain't in no allegiance with it. Carrie ain't never got up here and dragged nobody family into no little roast. Don't do that. I ain't never put up no video of nobody fucking family. Don't be trying to act like you doing that shit on behalf of me. And then you can't even take no accountability, acting like that shit wasn't a dox. He did imply that he was going to dig around in Binary's business some more.
Right. A family member of his,
right,
or went into his extramarital affairs. I don't know if he's married, but for him to just go deep into it when it comes to the D to L situation, it's just weird.
And then he don't take no accountability. He always acting like he ain't do nothing. And it's just like, why are you bringing people's families into this shit? And why?
He's right. And he's one of the same people that respected privacy and doesn't tap links and don't cam up. But those type people, the main ones being everybody's business. You can stretch it out if you want. What do you think is his agenda? What do you think his purpose is? Is he working for AI or something?
I just think he a weirdo, just like AAS. I think some of these people want to sit there and project to me that I need to go outside. And I'm not going to hold you. This is something I've talked about. Like, I have social anxiety. But they a bunch of weirdos. And I think it's certain types of people like him and AAS. The internet is like, they on here hunting people. Like, they not normal. It's something off about them. Like, they hoarders. They hoard information on people. And they don't feel like it's creepy or weird or nothing. They act like we dumb because we not sitting around recording 100 people 100 hours a week like they are.
And then they'll run to their little sector bubble of friends and coagulate over there. Yeah, they block and shame and they send strikes. And then at the same time, they add a mofo. And they all up in other people's family members' content and, you know, creepy. And they on some nut hugging, but meanwhile, what are they doing with their own personal lives?
Right.
Why?
Fantasizing and pretending. They're free. No one can stop you. And these two are shining examples. They really wish they could reverse reality with this false indignation, this false outrage. They really wish they could be in the reverse position of not being the aggressors. There you have Photon, who doesn't even have his own content. He's complaining. He doesn't generate any of his own content, and he's complaining about the content of others that he steals. And Carrie Ann did not miss a live stream. She was in every single live stream commenting on the egg donor who was attacking Breaking the Culture of Silence's family from A to Z, attacking her children and lying about her abandoning children, mentioning the names of her actual children, her 2 children, the only children she has given birth to. Carrie Ann was over there. Was that not an attack on the family? Carrie Ann, right on time, when she could not prevail in an argument with Stargate and Breaking the Culture, what did she do? She invoked the names of their children, their minor children, and sexualized them. And here she is lying about, oh my God, the families are being attacked. Like I said, people can pretend. They can live in a fantasy world and act as if they are concerned about families. And I can call the shit out for what it is. Bald face lies. And Phonyton, the sex abuse cult disciple of Dwight Malachi York has no problem putting family members' photos in his live stream and having photos of children, minors, with sexual comments on them. But there's a problem now. Why? Because someone's talking about Binary Code's family? Okay. Binary Code, he didn't have any problem mentioning family. They just have to try to find a way to reverse the situation for what it is. No one can stop them as far as what they want to say, what comes out of their mouth, but it's not reality. See, I know the reason why they get so upset about content being recorded. Yes, people continue to send us those clips. The more bizarre Carrie Ann acts, the more clips we get. Yes, continue to send the information. We will continue to document the information. We're not going to apologize for it. You cannot shame us for it. Talk about trying to shame somebody. You heard Phony Ton talking about shaming? You don't want to be shamed for sexualizing Rev G's daughter? You don't want us to bring that up? You're the one that doesn't want us to talk about it. You're the one that did it. But he doesn't want us to say that he shouldn't have done it. That's what he's calling shame. He doesn't want us to call out the act. He wants us to feel ashamed for bringing it up. Again, role reversal. Shame on you for bringing up an atrocity, but not shame on us for perpetrating it. That's not the way our mind works. We're going to call it out for exactly what it is. All of these attacks on people who are not mentioning their names, they were not involved with any situation with these subjects, they are the aggressors. They still cannot deal with the fact that DJ Jackass had the carpet pulled out from under him. They were not expecting it. They were settled into that situation. They had a place to go where they thought he was going to continue to do what he was doing to us and nothing was going to happen. Carrie Ann was involved with the Social Security criminal activity. And now she's up here talking about families. The Social Security criminal activity involved stealing family members' information, stealing people's information, and redistributing the information. But no, we don't want to recognize that. We're only going to talk about somebody that has a dust up, I guess, Chat Lives Matter with binary. And now she wants to act like she gives a damn about binary. I don't give a damn about binary. Binary is trying to start trouble. Binary wants to start trouble. Binary will get trouble. Carrie doesn't give a damn about binary. She tried to get his ass locked up in a prison cell for saying he was trying to do something to children when the situation involved adults. We understand the reason why Carrie Ann is falling apart at the seams. She said and did what she said and did. And let's make sure we're not making any mistake about this. Look here on the screen. Carrie Ann again scrubbed her channel. We know the reason why. The white folks. Carrie Ann has to know that her homophobic slurs, her thinking this is cute and funny and fancy and free, how she's been attacking, keeping it playing with these homophobic slurs. She actually thinks this is something she's going to be able to slide by with. She actually thinks the governor of the state of Georgia and the superintendent of schools for the state of Georgia are going to listen to what she's saying, and they're going to just say, oh, well, it's no big deal. It's nothing. The State Department of Education is going to hear what she's saying, and they're going to just blow us off. That's what Carrie Ann thinks? No, that's not what Carrie Ann thinks. Carrie Ann is running scared. That's why she scrubbed her page again. It's totally, completely barren. Dry and barren like her elbows. She scrubbed the page. She's in a panic. I don't care if Carrie Ann is in a panic. She's running her damn mouth. She's providing all the ammunition that people need and then some. And that ammunition is going to be used. I don't give a shit what Carrie Ann says about whatever she says. Creeps, freaks, hunters, predators, say whatever you want. In actuality, Carrie Ann is the actionable predator who sexualizes minors. Imagine that. Someone with a teaching credential sexualizing minors continuously, mentioning minors in the same sentence as graphic sexual content. That's adult level. That's exactly what Carrie Ann does. Constantly using minors as punchlines. Trying to get this ridiculous TikTok bullshit going, knowing good and damn well it's bogus. This is exploiting minors. Completely exploiting minors. And this is someone with a teaching credential who really thinks she should be back in a classroom? By all accounts, she's on some sort of disability right now. You can be fired and get on long-term disability. You can be given an ultimatum, quit or we'll fire you, and still go on long-term disability. That is possible. So here she is on the internet continuing to act the fool, be totally and completely out of control, and expects other people to tolerate it. Her expectations are her expectations. But those homophobic slurs are going to come back and bite Carrie Ann and her stanky behind. And let me say this. This is something that she loves to try to put out there to try to shut people up, to say people want her. Or if you're a woman and you're calling her out for what she is, gross, nasty, and disgusting. Oh, I'm not into PUSSY. Oh, they're looking at my ass. Let me tell you something. Hepatitis A is spread by feces. If anyone's going to be looking at anything, they're going to be looking at the ground to see the shit that comes out of her ass so they can pick it up and make sure hepatitis A doesn't spread. Of course, they'll be covered completely while they have their pooper scooper to make sure hepatitis A doesn't spread. That's what happens when you have COPD. Every time you cough, you're going to urinate or you're going to defecate. And nobody wants a hepatitis A scare. So while she's running around here taking inventory on everybody's deficiencies, she needs to look at herself. Every time we turn around, she gets caught up in another lie. So let's reemphasize the importance of the verification and the support of having the live streams and the clips. It's proof. At least when we say something, we're able to support what we're saying. If we're making an allegation or a claim, we have backup. All of these claims that they make about us, there is absolutely nothing that they can put forth to show support for what they're claiming. 99.999% of the time, what they're claiming we've said or done is false. The other 0.0000, whatever you want to put, how many zeros on it, percentage of the time, they may have captured something, but it's not actionable and it's not illegal. This is the frustration, the inability to force us to do what they're doing. We're going to continue doing what we've done the whole time. We're not going to tell people to stop sending us clips. We're going to continue to catalog all the information that we get. We will continue to make sure we reach out to whoever we need to reach out to if and when the situation calls for such. The fact that people don't like it, that's something that they can deal with or not deal with. We're going to continue doing what we're doing. And I want to drive the point home. I hope Carrie Ann got all the enjoyment she can get out of this homophobic slurs, out of calling HIV dirty blood, out of telling people they need to go get HIV testing, ridiculing the LGBTQ++ community, and essentially holding up the EEOC poster and attacking every single protected group on there. That is the issue with Carrie Ann. In particular, her race attacking. Primarily her race attacking and her homophobic slurs. She wants everyone to believe that the governor of Georgia And the superintendent of schools for the state of Georgia aren't going to care. She wants everybody to believe that the State Department of Ed isn't going to give a damn. And there's one thing that this fool said not too long ago on a clip, that the district did not take her credential. The district does not issue teaching credentials. The district does not have the authority to suspend or revoke a credential or discipline a credential. This is someone who doesn't even understand how the field she supposedly is in works. So many of those districts in Georgia are not trusted by the State Department of Ed because of the corruption that has gone on. I had mentioned it in a previous video that Georgia was one of the first states in the nation that had to pass the laws to prohibit the teachers from instructing students on race, quote, relations, and sexual orientation because those teachers were out of control. They talked just like Carrie Ann, damaging the children. Ultimately, it's up to the parents that want their children to receive that curriculum. But they had to put certain laws in place because of idiots like Carrie Ann, who never, ever belonged anywhere in a classroom and certainly deserves to have that credential revoked. It's disgusting. And speaking of disgusting, let me make sure I emphasize this point. Let me use this example. I'm sure you've heard some stories where people say they were going to eat at a fast food restaurant and they were going to take a bite in a hamburger, or they took a bite and there was a mouse in there. And they have the picture and it's on the news. Listen, whether they put the mouse in there or the mouse was in there, it's still disgusting and it's still gross. Either way you look at it, there is no comparison standard. When you hear this fool, Carrie Ann, talking about, well, why don't they just show this and why don't they do that? There is no comparison. Standing alone by herself with no comparison standard, she's disgusting, gross, vile, despicable, and reprehensible. Not at all attractive, busted up body inside and out. There is nothing at all that's appealing. There is no comparison standard. Just like the rat or the mouse in the hamburger. You don't need to compare it to anything. Gross is gross. Again, it's about the hepatitis A spread infection prevention. That's a concern when you deal with Carrie Ann. Nothing else, nothing to envy, nothing to aspire to. Everything about her is a lie. Who in the hell wants to have a life of a liar? Everything coming out of that mouth is a bald-faced lie, with the exceptions of the unguarded moments when she can't catch herself. But trying to manufacture a situation that just doesn't exist, that's a fantasy world that she can live in all on her own. We're going to continue to introduce her to reality after reality after reality. And it's the same damn thing that's happening now. All the lies that they're getting up and saying. You can say anything you want. You don't have any proof. And they hate the fact that we are capturing the information. People are sending the information. It is there. They are saying what they are saying. This is why the pages are being scrubbed. They don't like the fact that the crap that they are doing, the crap that they are saying, the attacks that they are initiating on other people, yes, including families, it's coming right out of their mouths, and there's nothing they can do to stop people from capturing it. I mean, you would think if someone doesn't want to be in trouble for doing or saying something, they just wouldn't do or say it. But there are those who don't have any self-control, or I should say, they never learn to exercise self-control, or they feel they don't want to exercise self-control because they feel they have control over others based on the fact that they say things about them that's negative. That's the only way they feel they can have control over someone. And it's not even real because they end up getting penalized. They end up suffering consequences. They end up ruining their careers as a result. Why don't you talk to Carrie Ann about that? That's a situation that she is in. She's in that situation. None of us are in that situation. That is Carrie Ann's life. Listen, folks, always I got more coming your way. In the meantime, buyer beware.